Hi there. So I've had a few questions about what exactly is my position here on board? What do I do? What are my responsibilities? What are my daily duties? What does a normal day look like? Are you enjoying it? What is your name and who exactly do you think you are? Well, I'm going to try to answer that in this video today. If you don't know, I am Dan, my name is Dan, and I work aboard the Sky Princess, which is a cruise ship with Princess Cruises. The ship is just about 3 years old, and I have been on this ship for a fraction of that. So this is actually my first contract with the ship. I was hired as an AP, or an assistant purser. Basically what that means, it is a one-stripe role, as you can see from here. So I am in charge of the guest services team. There's a team of guest services officers, or GSOs, that I am responsible for to make sure that they have everything that they need to service our guests. That goes as far as using all the systems and tools that we use internally, and also helping guests with the external systems that we use. And as far as the app goes, we have a medallion app on our phones and our devices, which guests can download to use for their journey, which allows them to find other shipmates, order food or drinks, and learn more about Princess in general and their own profile. They can check their folio, see what their spending habits have been like while on board, and a number of other things on the app. And then more on helping the GSOs to set up trainings, making sure they're comfortable in ship life, making sure they're always taken care of, make sure they're engaged, they're offering great customer service to our guests, and that they understand all the systems and safety and protocols and procedures, that everything that happens on this moving and floating city. Now obviously all the team comes from different backgrounds and different experiences. Some of the team is brand new. It might be their first contract, it might be their 5th or 7th contract. They've been on different ships, served many different contracts on different voyages, and they've been around. Especially pre-pandemic, it was a completely different atmosphere, and then post-pandemic a lot of things changed. So there's a lot of new people joining the ship, and I am responsible for making sure that everything goes very smoothly for both the crew and the guests as well. And as far as my duties goes, well, I basically start my day at 9 o'clock. I'm meant to be at my desk for 9. So I'll typically get up about an hour and a half before that, shower, get ready for the day, get dressed into my daily uniform, make sure I'm all ironed and set to go, and then go for breakfast. And then I'm at my desk for 9, where I check an itinerary for the day, emails, other phone calls, and follow-ups that I need to do, make sure that the team has everything that they need. There is an overnight team. There is a night manager, and then there's a night GSO, guest services officer. Those two are in charge of the guest services area. The night manager controls many other things about the ship and keeps an eye on all of that. So I take over essentially from the night manager when I come in. There's also a guest services manager above me, and then I resume the day from there. Some GSOs start as early as 6:30 in the morning or 7 o'clock, depending on the port or sea day and what hands on deck are necessary for that time, because certain voyages will dictate what time and how many staff are needed on a given day. So in my role as a single stripe officer, I am the guest services supervisor. Above me, there is a guest services manager who is responsible for me, and then also the team at large and everything to do with guest services. Above that, there is a guest services director who is in charge of beyond that, and then also the rooms division. Above that, there's an associate hotel general manager, and that person is responsible for all of the hotel front. And then beyond that, there is the hotel general manager, of course, who is in charge of all the hotel aspects. And then above that, there are others, but it's pretty much directly the captain that the HGM, or the hotel general manager, reports to. So the guest services officers report to me. I report to the guest services manager. That person reports to the guest services director. That person reports to the AHGM, or the associate hotel general manager, and that person reports to the hotel general manager, and the HGM reports to the captain. The captain being the master officer, the master of this ship, and me as an assistant purser, and my guest services manager is a senior assistant purser. There are 3 senior assistant pursers on this ship, one being the guest services manager, one being the crew manager, and the other one being the food and beverage manager. The GSM, or the guest services manager, is a 2-stripe officer role. So beyond my responsibilities of making sure that the guest services team and the front desk is all taken care of, I have my own set of duties that I do administratively. Answering and making phone calls, emails, Other duties such as officer visibility is something where an officer is in the guest areas talking with guests. If they have any questions on the front line, not everyone wants to come to the guest services desk, not everyone passes by, not everyone might want to stand in line if there happens to be a line at that time. So our role is to be out and engaging with them so they're taken care of and have everything they need. Or maybe they're shy to ask a question or weren't sure if they wanted to even ask a question. We can approach them casually and just ask, oh no, how's your cruise going? If there's anything you need, let us know. And then usually some questions come up and they point things out to us. They're having a great time, or there was an issue with their shower, or whatever it might be, and then we can jump on that rather than not knowing at all. Otherwise we wouldn't have figured out or heard from them otherwise. But also on port days, just being a face and somebody at the gangways to answer any questions for guests getting off the ship and then re-embarking the ship as well. If they have questions about timing or maybe their shore excursion or meeting points or points of interest, we can be right there answering their questions for them. And then beyond that, one thing that's very paramount on the ship, of course, is safety. Making sure everyone is taken care of and everything is in its place. Making sure my team of officers are practicing safe protocols and are aware of all the protocols. Of course, on Princess, it's a pretty streamlined safety protocol, but of course, different ships might have different ways of the way they do things, obviously, because it might be an older ship or a smaller ship. We are obviously a newer and a much bigger ship, so things might be a little different in terms of location and communication. So my role is to make sure they are aware of that. And of course, with guest service support, I'm there when a guest requests to speak to a supervisor, and I'm there to handle more serious matters that perhaps our GSOs can't handle on the front line. And of course, for other privileges that they might not have access to, such as giving the okay for certain transactions, or just general questions that might not be very usual on the desk, and I can answer otherwise. So as far as my schedule goes, as I said, I start at 9 a.m. My schedule usually goes to about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, and then I have, give or take, about a 3-hour break, where then I come back to the desk at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, and then I'm on shift again till about 10 o'clock when the night manager comes in. So at 9 o'clock and then again at 10 o'clock, we do a pass off between each other. So me relaying to the night manager in the morning everything that happened during the day. So the night manager relaying everything to me and any pass off that I need to be aware of that happened during the night. With guests and crew and the ship, and then at nighttime the reverse of that, everything that happened during the day, relaying that to the manager so that that person is aware of for everything going forward. Another very important thing that we do on board is tracking guests' profiles and any feedback that guests have given to us. There are comments, concerns, questions, anything like that. Any issues about the ship that are directly guest related, we have a system that tracks all of that. It's a manual entry that we do. It's a service excellence program that tracks all of guest comments, whether they're positive, negative, neutral, anything like that. Any commendations, comments that guests want to offer, we track that in our system. There are impression forms that go out to guests as well that they're welcome to write anything they want to on there, and they submit that to the front desk. Then we can type those up and attach to their profile as their individual comment, and then we can track those and follow up with them during the voyage in any way that we need to, by either rectifying that problem or creating a resolution surrounding that matter. And that's something we take very seriously here on Princess. So not only guest services, but also service recovery. If anything ever goes awry, then we're there to fix it and solve that matter. And of course, to not only follow up with it, but also to follow through with that guest, to make sure they're having the best cruising experience they can. So I do get a break time during the day, during that time frame of the 3 hours, between about 2 to 5 p.m. And during that time I can do anything I like. I can go off the boat, I can go to shore, if it's a port day, do anything I like. If I gotta do some shopping or running around, of course you've seen some of my videos where I'm, due to the short time frame, it's mostly me running out and coming right back. Or depending on how I'm feeling that day, I might just want to eat something, I might go to the gym, I might just relax in my cabin. A lot of the time I'm just editing video so I can put out more for all of you to see. That's the basics of the job, but obviously each day is very different. Some days might be shorter or longer. They are long hours, they are tiring. Don't let it fool you. It is a lot of work and it's a lot to learn. It is my first contract, and it's not very usual that someone on their first contract gets put into an AP role, such as I have. But given my background and my history in the hospitality industry and my experience as supervisor and manager and other roles that I've had, has allowed me to pretty much be placed right into the supervisory role with Princess. And I'm very grateful for that, but it hasn't been easy at all. Has it been fun? Yes. absolutely, but it has not been easy. It's a lot to learn, a lot to intake, a huge steep learning curve. Obviously, when you come into a new company, such as this, and it's my first time in this specific environment in the tourism industry, being on a cruise ship in such a large vessel that the Sky Princess is, big learning curve in terms of adjusting to everything that Princess is about, learning the culture of Princess, learning the culture of this ship, learning the culture of this team. Obviously, there's turnover all the time because most contracts are anywhere from 4 to 6 months to 9 months. And a lot of those people are turning over all the time. So I might come in under one GSM or guest services manager who has their way of doing all the smaller intricacies of how they run their guest services team, and to the next one that might come and might change things up. Not drastically, of course. Like I said, there's a streamlined Princess protocol that we all practice, but of course this general manager might want to do it that way. That GSD might want to do it their way. The hotel controller might want to do it their way. So there's always things that are coming and going. That might be a good thing. I just kind of came into it and was just learning everything that I was told right off the bat. And I just took that as gospel for the most part. So there was a lot of learning, a lot of reading, a lot of e-lessons, and a lot of trainings, departmental trainings, which admittedly, the ship does try to have a good grasp on. Princess itself does have a whole slew of things to allow you to learn and read up on things that you're expected to do and be aware of in your contract and in your role. However, given that it's controlled chaos a lot of the time on these ships, if you are aware, things are very active and very alive. So you might not always get the full and thorough training that you might expect. It's kind of, you get thrown into the position and you kind of learn as you go. Which is great, but it's kind of sink or swim out on the ocean, literally. So I was kind of grateful to have a previous GSS or Guest Services Supervisor kind of take me under their wing and guide me through a lot of the things. Even then, it wasn't easy. It wasn't the way that I would have preferred to, but it's just the way that it was, and that's how I was introduced to ship life. So I had to learn fast and hit the ground running, and it's been a very interesting ride, or sailing. But in terms of things beyond the role, I get my own cabin, so I don't have to share with anybody. I have my own bed, my own portholes, not a connected bathroom. Everything is private within this room. I have meals provided for me, as all of our officers do. We actually have an officer's mess that is delegated for certain striped and certain role officers, which is on deck 5 near the back of the ship, which is buffet and menu style meals. We have the opportunity to order straight from the guest menu on some days. And if I'm completely honest, the food is actually quite good. There's also the crew mess, which we have access to as well, which is more buffet style as well. In that area, you're not able to order from the guest menu, but they do have everything else that you've got available. So there's fountain drinks, coffee, tea, and in our officer's mess, you can order desserts. You can also order wine if you like as well, and anything else you need. So there's no shortage of food on this ship, that is for sure. As officers, we also have access to some of the restaurants. If you have time, and if there's availability, you can make a reservation and enjoy some of the restaurants, depending. Of course, certain ports, certain sea days, certain times, it's all dependent on that. And then also on deck 16, the World Fresh Market or Horizons, we have access to as well. On certain times we can go for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and order from there. It is buffet style up there, and the food again is quite good. Good selection up there. If I can, sometimes I prefer going up there instead of the officer's mess, just for a change of scenery and different food options as well. Plus, sometimes they have different themed nights up there depending on where we are in the world and what port we are in. They might have a Mexican night or an Italian night or a French food night, whatever it might be. And a couple people have asked me about other benefits and perks. In terms of other benefits, you get to travel for free pretty much, or get paid for it. So I've seen many parts of the world that I would have never visited otherwise, never heard of otherwise, and obviously still can't pronounce a lot of them, but I've had a very awesome time. Beyond that, networking has been great to meet all these different people, different experiences, people who have been with the company for 10, 20, 30 years. I've met people on this ship who have been with this company for a very long time, and definitely know a lot of stuff about ship life and can tell you many interesting stories and many other things to get you prepared for what's expected. And then of course, as an officer, I have access to guest facing areas, so guest areas such as, like I said, some restaurants, being able to order coffee or tea during the day, and just generally being allowed to walk through guest areas. So long as I'm in the proper uniform for that time, I can go through guest areas and do everything that I need to do. Whereas some positions on this ship do not even have guest access. They might have a galley position or a back of house position that they don't necessarily have access to any of the guest areas. They're not allowed to eat in the restaurants. They're not allowed to even walk through guest areas if they don't necessarily need to. So as far as other benefits go, I have access to medical on board. There is a medical center. There's doctors, nurses on board, and if I need any medication, then I can get it from there. If it's anything that is not available there, then I can get it from the shore side if I need to. They can also order it into the ship from the next port that we go to if necessary. But any small medical issues that can be handled right here on the ship, I can go see them. If it's anything large, then I might have to set up a doctor's appointment in the shore that we go to, which thankfully I haven't had to do. And dentist appointments and things like that, there's no dentist on board. Most crew members just set up a dentist appointment with the next port that we might be going to, or just wait until their contract is over and do it at home, unless of course it's an emergency. A few things I would recommend and give you advice for that you really need to keep track of. Make sure that you get enough sleep. That's huge on board. Don't burn yourself out, because you will get tired, you probably will get sick, and you will not be in a great mood. So definitely get enough sleep. The next one is your diet. Make sure you eat properly. Eat the meals that you're supposed to eat. Snack in between if you have to. Get your fruit, get your vegetables, and definitely stay hydrated. Drink a lot of water. You're going to need it, especially if you're in the warmer climates. Another one is to exercise. Even if it's just a few minutes in the gym, or just leaving the ship and going for a walk, go for a bike ride. Even in your cabin, do some standing squats or jumping jacks and push-ups, things like that, to just stay active, get your blood moving, and get your mind active. Stay healthy. And on that one, mental health is very big on the ship. Find ways to keep yourself happy. Find a hobby or something outside to do of work. When you're on break, take that time to unwind and relax and de-stress. Do the things that you need to do to take care of yourself. It is a stressful job. There is a lot to it. Ship life is not for everybody, but if you can find those ways to keep yourself busy, if you like to read books, watch a movie, watch a series, stream something, play video games. My thing, of course, is to edit these videos. I really enjoy doing that, and I try to do it as much as I can. I apologize if the videos have been far between, but it's kind of difficult to edit on board and find that time, but also to get the Wi-Fi to upload all these videos to you. But guaranteed when my contract ends, I've got a lot in the bank that I'm going to put forward to you all. And Wi-Fi. If you want to stay connected to the outside world, I suggest buying Wi-Fi here on board for crew. It is $2 per day, which is a 24-hour clock. So from the moment you purchase it, if I buy it at 4 p.m. this afternoon, it will last exactly 24 hours and end 4 p.m. the next day. You don't have to buy one day at a time. You can buy 30 days entirely if you like, or more. You can pay the $60 and have it for 1 month. But if you've got family and friends back home or elsewhere that you want to stay connected to and communicate with them, then make sure you buy a Wi-Fi package. Make sure you have your cell phone or a laptop or whatever else. There are computers on board. There's an internet cafe that crew has access to with computers, so you can talk back and forth and email and catch up on all the things that you need to do. If you need to pay bills or anything else you may need to do, that is available for you. Of course, I can't speak about the length and breadth of other roles on this ship. I am hoping to possibly have a couple other people from different departments on the channel to be interviewed and kind of speak towards what they might experience for their roles on board, and speak to what they do on a daily basis, and perhaps give some insight to other people who are thinking of coming aboard and working on the ship. At some point, I'm looking forward to making a video of what they don't tell you working on a cruise ship, what you don't expect, and what you're not set up for. But this is not that video, and that will come at a different time. So please stay tuned for those. Beyond that, I hope I've been able to give you a little bit of background and overview of what I do here on board as the Guest Services Supervisor of a large vessel such as Sky Princess. If you have any specific questions or anything else that I probably didn't answer, feel free to let me know. You can contact me in the comments below. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Sky Princess. Feel free to drop by the desk if you're on board and ever have any questions directly to me. I've had quite a few guests actually do that. Say, hey, I saw you on YouTube. We finally made it on board. So I love meeting guests like that. Come shake my hand, come say hi. And other than that, as always, I really thank you for joining me on this journey so far. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment, leave a like, leave a subscription. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you in the next one, and we'll see you overboard.